Hey, what's going on, you guys? What's up? My name's Barbarian, and welcome to a little bit of different style of a video. I do these storytime videos once in a while when I think that, I just need to talk to you guys about something. Just tell you guys what's going on, and you guys seem to enjoy them, and I love doing them, so let's just get right into it. We're going to talk about me living in Seattle, because it's been kind of a weird transition, and I've got some really good, I don't want to say like point of view, but some really good perspective the last few weeks, because I've actually been back home in Boston. I stayed home from the 12th to, well, I'm still here. So about a month, a solid month of living back in my parents' house after being on my own for like 3 or 4 months out in Seattle. So I want to talk to you guys about like the differences that I've noticed, because let's be honest, everyone wants to live on their own. It's like every kid's dream to have their own house and their own place, and they can do whatever they want. They could eat breakfast for dinner. They could do, which I do on occasion, yes, but that's beside the point. So, a lot of people are saying to, me, oh, Barbarian, it must be so fun being out in Seattle. That must be awesome. You're living the dream. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I have a lot of good friends out in Seattle. I have a nice apartment. I have, it's awesome. I have a roommate who's awesome. I have Red. Down the street, literally like a quarter mile down the street is the BAM house. So I can see Zach, Garrett, Steve, even Tyson anytime I want. So I see them and Haley and all their friends. And then, about a mile down the other direction is Bash's house. So I have Bash and Clara. And then about a 10-minute drive out of the way, it's not too big of a deal, I go down there sometimes, is Adam's house. And then I go to Luckland's house, which is just about 5 minutes further down that road. So there's a lot of people in Seattle that are like my family. So it's not like I have nobody out there and I'm just living on YouTube and I just have nothing to, nobody to interact with and blah, 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 blah. Oh yeah, my future wife also lives 3 stories above us, I believe. I never actually talked to her, but I did call dibs on her, and so that means that I get her, I think. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about what it's like to be in Boston, because I told you guys all about my family in Seattle, quote unquote family. But when I go back to Boston, I have a lot of my friends that I grew up with. I have a lot of my friends from school, from elementary school, that I can still see and I can talk to and I can make friends with and, interact with around here that I don't get to see every day or talk to every day when I'm out in Seattle. I also have my parents, which is obviously a huge factor. I mean, it's in all honesty something that a lot of people don't they take for granted. They think my parents are just my parents. They're annoying, they ground me, they do this, they that. But honestly, my parents have been my biggest fans throughout my whole YouTube, when I used to play baseball, they would always come to all my games. I guess what I'm trying to say is that like a lot of people when they're little take little as in like, maybe me 3 months ago, 6 months ago, I couldn't wait to get rid of my parents. I was like, all right, yeah, see you later, moving to Seattle, bye. And at first I was kind of just like, yeah, no parents, woohoo. And then after a while, it's kind of like, all right, doing my own laundry. This is good. This is fun. I'm independent. And then, oh, the kitchen needs to be cleaned. I guess I have to do that myself too. Yeah, and awesome. And then nobody vacuums and no one sets things up for you and no one picks up your clothes when they're on the floor. And I kind of got to realizing, especially after this month of living back home, I like living with my parents. I don't like it in the sense that I would want to move back with my parents. God, no, that sounds terrible. But I do say that, I had it pretty easy when I lived with my parents, and they were really generous to me. Like, my family was always very close, and we always kind of, did things as a whole. As for instance, like when I started YouTube, the first thing I did was tell my parents about it. I was telling them everything about it, telling them all my favorite YouTubers and all this and that and the other things, and they listened to it. They didn't really care. I'll be honest. Nobody cares when their kid comes up to them and is just like, oh yeah, look at this cool new thing I don't understand, but here, look at it, it's so cool. That's kind of complicated. But after a while, they started to really look into this YouTube thing because I was spending so much time on it. My grandfather was telling them about it because my grandfather was kind of a big part of this. And it's been, it was kind of a strange thing. But slowly but surely, YouTube just became like a daily topic in my house. Like, oh, how's your YouTube doing? How your videos doing? And post anything today? And it was kind of a weird situation, but I don't know. That's kind of a tangent, and I apologize. But let's get back on topic. Whether weather, the differences between Seattle and Boston. Obviously, Boston is way colder. I didn't know that when I moved out to Seattle, but it's a very mild temperature. It's before the Rocky Mountains and before the Pacific Northwest like weather thing that makes like weather happen. I don't know exactly what the science is, but all I know is that the coldest temperature I've ever seen in Seattle so far has been 35, like 20, 29, 30, maybe. I don't know. Nothing below freezing. I mean, if it was 29, it was only that way like at 3 in the morning and I noticed it. But I seem to remember mostly being 50, around 50 degrees ish, nothing too cold. You wear a sweatshirt and you're fine type of weather. But in Boston, oh no, we have not been doing that today. Yesterday, it was -1 degree. That sounds awesome. But then you factor in the wind chill and it was -30 degrees out. And if you guys have seen Anchorman 2, that's what I like to call negative brick, because that is just insanely stupid cold. It's just, you can't have cold weather that bad. So that's kind of where we're at right now. It's freezing, and my mom's one of those people that likes to save money by not turning on the heat in the basement. Unfortunately for her, or no, rather fortunately for her, she doesn't hang out in the basement. She doesn't do anything in the basement except for do laundry. Unfortunately for me, I work down here for hours at a time with no heat or, space heaters or anything like that. So that's always a jolly old time, but it's kind of an entertaining time. I like being back in Boston, but overall, I don't think I could move back here permanently. I like being here for a month or so, but already I'm starting to miss my family back in Seattle. I'll be honest, I'll be 110% honest. The biggest thing I miss is Adam's dogs. Okay, so he has 3 dogs, and they're really, really cute dogs. So, Elisa has awesome, I think one of them's hers and like 2 of them are, I don't know, but the dogs, I love the dogs. They're so cool. I'd never had dogs before. I didn't grow up with dogs. I grew up with cats. They don't really give you any time of day or attention. The best thing a cat's going to do is it's going to snuggle up on your lap, which I love when my cat does that. I'm going to do that later on today and just watch the game with my cat just snuggled up on he's so warm and I love it. But regardless of that, dogs will actually like come up to you and be like, "Oh, blah, 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 I love you," blah, 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 lick their face. And I've never had that happen before. So when that happened to me, I was like, "Oh my God, this is awesome." And I'll be honest, these are like the first dogs I've ever actually been around before. So I don't know. I like these dogs. I like dogs. I kind of think I want to be a dog, not be a dog, but have dogs, like be a dog person. Because I actually signed up to volunteer at the animal shelter when I get back from Boston. I'm volunteering at the shelter in Seattle. It's right down the street from me. And they said I get to work with dogs. So I'm going to try that. And, maybe if it works out well, maybe I'll adopt one. You never know. But anyway, guys, I do hope that you enjoyed this video, this little story time that went off on a little bit of a tangent. I'd say overall, I can't say that I like one way or the other, Boston or Seattle, because Seattle is a really great place to live for a huge amount of reasons. Even if you're not talking about my specific situation, Seattle looks like it's a great place. It's there's evergreens everywhere. There's forests, mountains. It's a beautiful city. But I have to say, Boston will always be my home, and you don't quite get the seasons anywhere in the country like you do in New England. And if you guys don't know what I mean by that, winter in Boston is winter. Winter is winter, and spring is spring. It's a specific season. You can really tell the difference between winter, spring, summer, and even fall. But in Seattle, it sort of still feels like fall. I mean, there's no leaves on the ground, which is one of my favorite seasons, is when the leaves change color. I love that. And that didn't happen. And it doesn't snow there, and it doesn't really get super hot in the summer either. It stays around 70, 80 degrees-ish. So it's kind of a weird situation, but it's kind of neat. You get the separation because you have the rainy season and the sunny season. And right now, we're in the 9-month rainy season, which is not very fun at all. But it's nice. I guess I'd have to wait and see. I'd have to spend a solid year in Seattle to really understand if I like it or not. But so far, I think it's fun. It's fun. I do enjoy it. So, with that being said, guys, I do hope you enjoyed this storytime video. And if you did, feel free to let me know in the comment section below what you'd like to hear me talk about next episode. But until next time, guys, my name's Barbarian. Peace out.